Hi guys, so let's talk about love rats, shall we? Love rats, what are love rats? Alright, so a lot of them are in Ghana, a lot of them are in Tunisia, which is in between Algeria and Libya in Africa, and they target women with money, tourists with money, and they target women who have a soft heart. Okay? The minute women get off the plane, they pounce. All right? So I've traveled to different countries back in the day, and as you guys know, every country that I've gone to, people are you're either really, really wealthy or you're below the poverty line. There's no middle ground per se. There's no middle class per se. Poverty is a common thing. Okay. And so these men have discovered that these women are living on the wild side. They're getting with men who they would probably never get with in their real life because it's forbidden. You know, you want to get with a black guy and you want to get with an African guy, and you're white. A lot of people frown on that. They don't accept that. It's kind of like a fantasy. It's like forbidden fruit. That's what I think it is. It's forbidden fruit. And a lot of these men are young and they're muscular and they have stamina and they pounce on these women. So these women have empathy for them. They are getting tossed up. Okay. Let's keep it real. They're getting tossed up. All right. They feel for these men. A lot of them have a lot of money. So they will, rent an apartment there in that country, or they will give him plenty of money, buy him clothes, basically like a sugar mama. So in essence, these guys are being paid. They're basically like gigolos, whether women want to realize it or not. They're like gigolos. These women some of them marry these men. Some of them pay all their bills, give them money to take care of their families because they are financially well off and in a position to do that. One lady said under one video that I saw, she said, as soon as I got off the plane, they were all up in my face. Ugh. She didn't like that. I wouldn't like that either. But this is the way they survive over there. And women are more than willing and more than happy to provide them. And then women take it a couple steps too far. We're going to go there. They will marry these men. And, they'll marry them. And they think that because these guys are so good at what they do, and they know they're dealing with women who, they may have low self-esteem. They may have had failed marriages or their husband passed away and they're lonely. And so, come on, don't get on my nerves. So these guys they're gonna jump, and they're very good at what they do. They know how to smell your weaknesses and tell you that you're beautiful, even if they're not attracted to the woman. They will treat her like she is a queen. He's getting paid to do this. He's very, very good at this. These men are good at this. They're in love with you. You are the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life because you're paying my bills. Okay. One lady, they actually got married. She's 50 something, I think, and he's 20 or 21 or something like that. And he convinced her that you are the most beautiful person in the entire world. So they got married, and I'm thinking to myself, girl, what are you doing? After these men, if they can entice you to marry them, after they're tired of playing the game, they leave without warning. Because to them, it's just money. Yes, he's telling you he's in love with you. Yes, he's telling you you're beautiful. Yes, he is seductive. Yes, he is, touches your face, holds your hand, looks deeply into your eyes. It's all a game. It's all a game. Okay? But these women get convinced, but he loves me and I love him too. And men have never treated me this good. Age is just a number, in the cases where age is so significantly, there's a huge age gap. They know how to become whatever you want them to be because they're getting paid to do that by these women. Okay? One lady married a guy she didn't know he was a scammer / gigolo. She didn't know. They got married and he got a visa. He got a visa to go to Europe with her. Once he got his visa, he was in the wind. Why? Because it's a game. It's a game. It's not real love. So my advice to women is do not go to these foreign countries thinking you're going to meet Prince Charming and I'm in love and I've never felt this way before. It is his job to make you feel that way. And they are very, very, very good at it. That's what they do. They're head over heels in love with you until you go back home. The next girl that jumps off the plane, he's head over heels in love with her too. In love. Okay. That's why they're called love rats. So even women who are there with a guy, they don't care. Like if the guy goes to get a drink or something and the guy will pounce. Hey, how you doing? What's your name? Oh, that's a beautiful name. You're gorgeous. And then her husband will come strolling back or her boyfriend. And then he's like, oh, I didn't know you were, this your husband. Oh, I didn't know. Nice to meet you. Shake the husband's hand like, oh, it's nice to meet you. And he's thinking, God dang it, that could have been money in my pocket. She got a man. So there goes that. So he has to put on his act for the next person. They do it over and over and over and over again. They're in love with every single woman that comes off the plane. Okay? Every single woman, head over heels in love. Some of them are, I don't know how it works in England, okay? But in the United States, you can't get somebody's property or half of anything until you've been married at least 10 years or more, okay? I don't know if it's different over there, but the one guy married, he's a scam artist. They're basically scammers, what you see online, but they're in person. Looking deep into your eyes, and I love you so much. I've never seen a woman as beautiful as you. I can't believe how deeply my heart feels for you. You are amazing. I don't ever want to lose you. I love you. It's all an act. It's all a freaking act. I would strongly advise women to either A, stay the hell away from there, or B, don't go by yourself, bring a man with you, or your husband with you, or whatever. Don't have a girls trip because all of y'all are going to get targeted. Every single last one of y'all is going to get targeted. They find these women on the beach. A lot of them are topless, showing off their muscles. I mean, they're basically gigolos. That's really how it is. They're gigolos. Some of them ask for money. Some of them don't. We're going to get raw. Okay, we're going to get raw up in here. We grown. Some don't ask for money because he will rock her so good that she will give whatever. What you need, baby? I got you. Okay. One lady she knows the game, and she told, she don't mind having flings with these guys because she's not going to take you seriously. But she did tell one of them in particular, don't ask me for money because if you do, we're done. And he never did because he knew that that was not going to work with her. Okay. But all these other women are fair game. They're fair game. There's no limit to how far they will go. There was another lady, her husband died, and she went to Ghana. She fell in love with Ghana. And she was like, I mean, look how beautiful this is, and it's the beach and the water slamming into the surf and, into the shoreline and everything. Look how, I mean, who would walk away from this? And I'm thinking to myself, but we've got beautiful beaches here in the United States. You don't have to go over there to see a beautiful beach, but whatever. So she met this guy. She said he was ridiculously handsome. He's all right. I mean, he's okay. He swept her off her feet. She fell head over heels in love with him. They got married. He got what he wanted from her. I think did he get a visa? Whatever he got from her, he was done, and he was in the wind after they got married. Because the marriage means nothing to them. I'm pretty sure we're going to go there. I'm pretty sure a lot of these guys are also narcissists because, I mean, you get somebody to fall head over heels in love with you and then you dismiss them when you're finished using them up. Does that not sound narcissistic, right? Some of it's desperation. A lot of it's desperation because they're living below the poverty line. So if they can use their body and their fake love to get you to fall for them so they can pay their bills, well, baby, I'm in love with you all every day and twice on Sunday. I'm in love. I'm so deeply in love. Oh, girl. You don't know what you do to me. You know what I'm saying? One guy, as far as the property thing, the one that he got a visa for Europe, and not long after he got his visa, which is what he married her for. She didn't know that. He's not going to tell you that. He's going to tell you he's in love and wants to marry you. Okay. This is common. This is common. This is crazy. It happens all the time. So anyway, she was convinced he loved her. He provided this fantasy and she fell for it, unfortunately, and she married him. And not long after they got married, he was in the wind. He got his visa. He was in the wind. And he was trying to take one of her properties. You've been married for 5 minutes. You trying to... So I'm confused by that because in Europe, can you be married for I'm being funny, 5 minutes, a short period of time, and then you think you're entitled to your spouse only on paper because you weren't married that long. You think you're entitled to her property? I don't know what's going on in Europe, but we don't do that in the United States. You ain't getting squat unless you've been married 10 years plus. All right? You ain't getting squat. So, I don't know. These men have absolutely no conscience. Some of these women are fighting them with the law. They're going to, I don't remember what they're called. Somebody in the legal system. There's different names in Europe. There's different names. I don't really know what they're called. And they're trying to get these men in trouble. They're trying to get them to serve jail time for what they've done because it's romance fraud and financial fraud and using the system to their advantage financially and all of that. And that's basically a scam, a fraud, and a crime. And so the one that fell in love with Ghana, she actually looks African. She fits right in. And then she dresses the part. She's got her hair in braids and, tall braids on her head. And she's got the big jewelry. And she dresses African style. And she just blends right in until she talks. And then they realize she has an American accent. But, she's going after her. He was in the wind. He married her and took off. Mr. Fine ass. I didn't think he was that fine. The more I looked at him, the more he fit the part of a scammer. He just looks sleazy. So he was in the wind. And the next time, if he ever sets foot on Ghanaian soil, he will be arrested. And he will serve time in jail for 3 years for romance fraud and financial fraud and all that. He also presented her, she said, we're not going to get married. And, I'm backtracking. We're not going to get married until I see, that you own a home, that you own property, that you own land, that you actually have something going on with yourself. And he showed her this lavish home. And he showed her the property, the land, and everything else. And it's a beautiful home. And she's like, oh, okay. All right, that'll work. Come to find out, after they got married, that's not his house. That's his sister's house. And he was perpetrating that it was his. So the entire thing is a scam. It's a scam. And it's super, super common for them to attack female tourists. They will always do this. They've always done it. It's really difficult to nail them if you are in another country because of the fact that there's different laws and it just gets complicated. I'm glad that the law is getting involved, that's helping these women. There's organizations. There's one woman who runs an organization that helps women who have been frauded this way. And she tells them what to do legally. She tells them how to protect their assets and all of that. And she's been through it. So she's not going to condemn women for, you fell in love with this guy, you don't even know him, he gave you all these slick words and you just fell for it. She doesn't attack you for that. She's been through that. So she knows what that feels like to get sucked into this whirlwind romance and this fantasy. And the one girl that rented an apartment over in one of those countries, I can't remember which one. She rented an apartment for her and her man, and he's way younger than her. She is an Italian lawyer, so she's got bank, and she pays. He doesn't do anything but play video games. He's a lot younger than her. I mean, a lot younger than her. He could be her kid, but they've been romantically involved, and he swept her off her feet, and he sits back and plays video games. And she stood outside the embassy trying really hard to get him a visa so he could go back with her to Europe. And they said, you have to come back, contact us in 3 months. She's like, 3 months? We want to get married. She did admit that her family isn't down for this. They're like, he is so much younger than you. He doesn't have anything to offer you. He's basically a kid. So what are you doing? And she's so swooned by him that she doesn't really care what her family thinks. And it's a downward spiral. Once you get caught up into this madness, it's a downward spiral. And women cannot seem to control themselves, and they'll do anything for these guys, and they'll pay for anything. And he loves me. I know he loves me. We love each other, and he's getting paid to love you. He's getting paid for that. So I don't know. There needs to be more awareness about this. And another thing that's really scary, actually, some of these guys admitted they don't use condoms. And one of the girls, I don't remember which country I think she's from Europe. She has a lot of money. And she doesn't care that he doesn't use a condom. Do you see how dangerous this gets? And he kind of laughed about it. He said, I don't always use a condom. And he just shook it off like, eh. It's scary. I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. She's okay with it. Wow. And this is what he does for a living. He bangs women for a living. So he's basically, like I said, they're all gigolos. So I don't know. I think you can't go to these countries alone. You cannot be in a place of vulnerability. You have to be realistic. If you want to have a fling, that's totally up to you. If you want, you grown, do what you want to do, but don't let it get any further than that. Because these guys are terrible. They're scam artists. And they can't wait for you to get off that plane. They can't wait. So awareness needs to happen. We need to spread awareness. You cannot be in a place of vulnerability traveling. You cannot do that because you are a sitting duck. I mean, these women have had lavish weddings with these guys, and these guys ain't no more serious than the man on the moon. Okay? They're not serious. They are playing you. The whole family's there. There's food, there's wine, there's dancing. They're doing the and all this, the whole family is involved. And they know that their family member that's getting married, they know he's a scammer, but they're going to play the game. Sometimes these women give his family money. There's one girl that the husband left her not long after they got married because he got what he wanted. I think he got a visa also. And his family was talking to her like, okay, well, what about us? Excuse you? Yeah, the whole family's in on it. Because you are their cash cow. If you have a lot of money, you're their cash cow. So we have to have awareness. We have to not be gullible. You cannot fall into this fantasy. I'm going to meet this young, chocolate, vibrant, muscle-bound man, and I'm going to, fall head over heels in love, and we're going to fall in love with each other, and this fantasy is going to happen, and we're going to ride off, get married, and ride off into the sunset with this horse-drawn carriage. You can't do that. You cannot do that. You're going to make yourself the biggest victim. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't. So, spread the word. Tell your lady friends. Warn them about foreign countries. I'm sure it is not just Ghana. It is not just Tunisia. It could be any country where there's poverty. And these guys see these women as lotto tickets. And the women are gullible and they give this man everything. Little do you know, the minute you go back to your country, he's saying the same bullshit to the next girl. And the next one, and the next one, and the next one. This is a long, indefinite line of all of his lovers that he's head over heels in love with. Okay? You don't go by what somebody tells you. You got to go by their actions. And honey, the minute you are back on a plane, it's revolving doors. The same crap he told you, he's telling every other woman that gets off that plane. So you got to be careful. You can't go in there with stars in your eyes. You cannot go to these countries with stars in your eyes. You just have to know that you are entering a lion's den. And these guys are very good at seducing women. They are very good at breaking down your walls. They are very good about sniffing out your insecurities and your low self-esteem. If you have low self-esteem, they can sniff out loneliness. If you're a widow, if your partner died, they can sniff all of that out and they will hone in on you like bees to the hive. So you got to slow your roll and know what you're getting yourself into. Awareness and education is the key. Education is power. The more you know, the better prepared you are. You cannot go in there vulnerable because I'm telling you right now, you're a sheep going to slaughter. Okay? And your money is yours. You don't give it to foreigners. That boy didn't earn nothing. Look, no, no. You gotta be careful. Watch your back. Okay? Educate yourself on how this works. And it could be Italy, it could be Germany, it could be any country. They know that you're a foreigner. They know by the way you dress, the way you walk, the way you talk. They know that you're not from there and they will hone in on you. One lady told me point blank, she said, Honey, we were talking on the plane, right? And she just started telling me all kinds of things. She says, yeah, one of the best lovers I ever had, he was Italian. Oh my God, they're such great lovers. But you don't want to be involved with them and you don't want to marry them because the majority of them are players. So again, it's not just Ghana or Tunisia. It could be any country. And they'll hone in on you. And the next thing you know, you're a cooked goose. Okay? Be careful, watch your back. Don't be vulnerable. Keep your money to yourself. That's why you're on vacation, to spoil yourself, not somebody else. All right? Be careful. And the one girl that got married because her husband died and, she fell in love with Mr. Fine. She went to a witch doctor. I wouldn't have did that, but, to each his own, whatever you want to do. And he said something very, very, very crucial. First, he blamed the women. Oh, you come here and you give your heart too easily and this and that. And he basically blamed the women. In other words, you the one that fell for him. So, come on. These guys are gigolos. I mean, this is what they do. They professionally manipulate women. Okay. So it's not just she's the bad guy. Okay. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, she has to take responsibility for letting her heart, run her to the finish line. But, I mean, come on. It's just... Anyway, he said something that was really crucial. He said, open your mind and close your legs. And so, when he said that, the girl said, the one that looks like she's from Ghana, she goes, okay, I'll make sure I tell women that. I think that just took her by surprise. Open your mind and close your legs. Because the minute you get into this romantic, lovey-dovey, looking in your eyes, talking in your ear, he's got that accent, and you're like, oh my God, and you just lose your shit. And you just can't put yourself in that situation. You just cannot. Okay? And since they're not using condoms, I wouldn't even, look here. No. Absolutely no. Just stay clear from them. And they are so charming. Because this is what they do for a living. They scam people. And they're good at it. If you do something long enough, you get really good at it. But education is power. Okay? Spread the word so we're better prepared for this type of BS. All right? All right. Y'all take care. Much love.